give us your take on the number and tell me whether you think there are supply issues here or demand issues here on Tesla. That is, are there enough people out there who still want to buy these Teslas to continue to drive the growth of that number going forward?
Oh, that's always the question here. But the second quarter really is the story about supply chain management, that supply chain management of those microchips in those cars. A lot of companies struggling to get it. And Tesla clearly was able to get its cars out, get some chips out, which is really rather remarkable. You got to be in the game to win the game. They did it. Toyota did it, 73% rise in their sales in the U.S. Last quarter. These are the two gold winners of the second quarter in getting chips and getting cars out to customers. So rather remarkable that we're talking about Tesla and Toyota in the same breath when it comes to supply chain management. You know, this could be like Stranger Things and we're the upside down world, because that wouldn't be the case a year ago.
Well, let me ask you guys about this fire, because, you know, Tesla is a unique company. Whenever there's a fire, we seem to do it on the national news. Other companies, you know, if their car bursts into flames, we don't necessarily do it on the national news. But this was dramatic. We saw these pictures of this car that looks like it's just absolutely melted down. And we do know that Tesla has a history of these intense fires that are difficult for the fire departments locally to deal with. This one happened just outside of my hometown of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And Phil, I got to confess here, I did buy a Tesla earlier this year, and I bought finally they made one that was cheap enough for me to afford. And so I'm worried now driving it around, and my son's driving it around. You know, are these cars safe? Do they burn more intensely than other cars? Or are we making a mountain out of a molehill here, Phil?
A lot of those things, the answer is yes. First of all, is it safe? Yes. In terms of fires, if you look at the number of fires reported by an electric vehicle versus a internal combustion vehicle that is powered by gasoline, there's no comparison at all. Is the fire more intense? Is it one of those that makes you say, wow? Yes, because the lithium-ion battery pack, it's not something you can just put out if you're a fire department just like that. And by the way, you said that Teslas, when we've seen these fires, they have burned more intensely. It's all electric vehicles when there is a fire. It's not just Tesla. It's all electric vehicles because they're lithium-ion batteries. And then finally, with regard to whether or not this is an issue that is going to dog Tesla as well as other companies as they're making electric vehicles that people may not feel safe, yeah, to a certain extent it will be there, because people will sit there and say, what caused this fire? Remember, a lot of these Tesla fires, Eamon, have been caused by a crash, which then you have the battery pack that is punctured. That sparks a fire. Yeah. In this case, what's interesting is the driver said he was just driving when it caught on fire.
Yeah, and Tim, that's what's so interesting here, right? I mean, you're talking about an electric car. It burns in a different way. It handles in a different way. But we all drive gasoline cars, and those, you've got, you know, huge gallons of highly combustible, highly flammable material on board in a gas car as well. This seems like it's a PR problem for Tesla, and it strikes me as particularly difficult for that company because they don't have a PR department. So as a journalist, how do you see this problem playing out for a company that doesn't like to talk to the press?
Well, there's two real big risks here, right? First of all, the owner of that car has got some very powerful, very high-profile lawyers involved in the case. Mark Garagos is not a wallflower. He is a guy who's got a lot of experience of trying cases in the court of public opinion. And Tesla, one of its biggest assets is that public opinion. People have tended to like these cars and not been dissuaded by these fires in the past. So if Elon Musk starts to feel threatened here, that this is hurting the company's clout or reputation, he's going to start swinging back, and we could likely see a very public brawl. And that brings in risk number two. This becomes a huge distraction for the company. 2021 is all about execution. The first half was getting the Model Y into China, and the results today clearly show things are working there. The second half is about getting these new factories online, one in Texas and one in Germany. Tesla doesn't have the greatest reputation when it comes to bringing out new product. They don't need a distraction this year.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.